Welcome everyone to episode 33 of the Business of Sport. My name is Ahmed Al Houli, and as always, except for last week, my co-host, Mr. Rob Yale, joins me once again. Welcome back, Rob. How are you,
How you
buddy?
doing, my friend? Sorry, I missed last week, but I was in the air, so all good. Back in Arizona, and glad to be on with you.
Absolutely. We definitely missed you, but hey, you're back and we have an action-packed show. Lots to talk about, lots happening in our world. Let's get straight into it. Right at the top, there's huge news came in today, this morning, wherever you are in the world. Dave Portnoy buys back Barstool Sports. Now, that's huge news, but the way he did it is even bigger. So what's happened is he hasn't paid a single cent for it. He's got it back for absolutely nothing. And one of the stipulations in their agreements is that if they ever resell Barstool Sports, Penn Entertainment or Penn Gaming would pretty much then receive 50% of that sale. So what a circumstance to be in.
Well, it's obviously a sweetheart deal for Dave. One, with ESPN and Penn Gaming, forming their alliance and creating the ESPN Bet app. Obviously, that jettisoned the Barstool plan. Which had met with, which 3 years ago when they entered into that agreement, had all the great intentions of kind of building that, that betting brand, together. Lots of things, that we don't need to get into here, kind of prevented that from blossoming in the way that I think they all envisioned. And at the end of the day, Penn Gaming and ESPN's a better brand play. And now, Dave gets Barstool back, still gets to keep his shares. And you mentioned the agreement. One, if he does sell it, there's a 50% that goes back of that net sale goes back to the Penn Gaming. But also, one of the stipulations is that, Dave's not going to compete with them in the gaming space, which I don't think he has any intention to do. And I think he's excited to get back, as he says, to the pirate ship and getting back to what made Barstool popular and successful, prior to that acquisition, and being a content provider, not being as regulated as they were with a publicly traded company, a gaming company, and then obviously with ESPN coming on board, that would have been a whole different set of regulations internally. That if you follow Dave. If you follow any one of the personalities on Barstool, what made them great was that freedom to speak and to come up with content that may be a little bit off the beaten path or off the edge. And now they can get back to that. And the first thing that happened today was Messi was reinstated with Barstool from his banishment to. As a brick company watch spokesman for Dave. Now he's back formally on Barstool. So, one of those deals that obviously it's a great deal for Penn because they upgrade in their betting, in their licensing partner on their betting brand. Two, it's a great deal because I think at the end of the day, I think they realized they were somewhat confined with the Barstool partnership. Not from a standpoint of like they didn't like them. It's just that the business and the regulations that run the business that they now are in. Barstool was just banging up against walls, and it was not a good fit. And so everybody separates. Everybody's friends. Dave's happy. Penn's thrilled. ESPN's now in the game, and now let's see what happens on both sides. Remember Barstool's got a bowl game sponsorship. What happens to the Arizona Bowl now with that? ESPN is going to start creating their betting platform rumor is Pat McAfee is going to be the kind of the name that moves into that and becomes very prominent in that space. So I think at the end of the day, the Barstool fans get their brand back, get their personalities back, and Penn gets what they're looking for in obviously a marquee brand with ESPN, and ESPN gets the betting platform where they have been kind of seeking for some time now, and they get a partner in that. And so let's see where this one lands. But at the end of the day, I think it's a win-win for both sides, because I think we as sports fans, get that Barstool product back that I think that a lot of people, a lot of fans enjoy. But also, we get ESPN in the betting game that they've been wanting to get into. And maybe this is one of those first steps for Iger as to give that ESPN spinoff away from Disney, its new identity. And let's see where it goes, because I think we're all intrigued and look forward to seeing where it lands.
Why now? Why would Iger pull the trigger now and not when he could have multiple years back?
Yeah, well, maybe it's a timing play, because Barstool, the Barstool Penn thing was probably coming to a head internally. There's probably these conversations coming on. Obviously, they brought, they got McAfee over to ESPN. McAfee had a relationship with FanDuel, so obviously, maybe there was conversations there. Don't know, but I think the timing now is it's been on the top of his list, and maybe this was just an opportunity play that with Barstool and Penn Gaming, maybe at a breaking point. It was a natural move in, and by the way, Penn's paying for this. They're paying threefold what they paid for Barstool to get this relationship with ESPN. So maybe money talks in this one.
Do you think Penn made their money back on Barstool?
Oh, I don't think they made their money back on it, but I think what they believe is addition by subtraction, so that they can actually move forward with the plans of what they want to do. And a partner and a brand that will operate much more successfully in a regulated space. We've as much as we love Portnoy and Big Cat and Mitzi and et cetera, they couldn't get things done in certain states because of Dave's background. They couldn't get things done, because of things that were said, background stuff, whatever. They've got employees going on and saying things that offended the or violated the code of ethics for a publicly traded company. And then you've got as Dave announced in his big press release today, there was lots of shots taken at the organization that were just that affected stock price. And at the end of the day, they're shareholders, and shareholders say, look, sometimes you got to cut your loss. And it's not because you don't like anybody. You're like, it's a business decision. I think they both came to a business decision of what's in the best interest of this stock. Dave reacquiring Barstool and separating out, ESPN coming in, but the stock went up 14-15% today. So Dave's thrilled. Dave's still a stockholder in Penn Gaming. They lost a lot of stock hit when they fired Mitzi. Now you gain some of that back, with the ESPN partnership. But I think moving forward, there's a much greater chance of a betting brand success with ESPN than ESPN's market share and Barstool's market share are night and day as to who they can deliver and how they can deliver it. So addition by subtraction, win-win. Mutual respect, if you will. No one's mad at anybody. It's just like, hey, everybody's winning, and all the brands are getting what they want to move forward. And hopefully that just means we've got two great products to consume as people in the sports business.
I mean, he's got to be one of the luckiest blokes alive to sell a company for hundreds of millions of dollars and then get it back for free, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. As someone said, it's like selling your car and then the person that bought it giving it back to you, saying, just it's got your smell in it. I don't want it, and just all I ask is you just don't drive by my house anymore. Hey, win-win, right? I mean, it's crazy stuff, but we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see how this affects our friends down the road in Tucson with the Arizona Bowl, or I should say the Barstool Sports Bowl.
Barstool Sports Bowl, yeah. So one question I got for you, given this being your space, especially when it comes to ads and naming rights and so on and so on, what happens to all these gaming advertisers that spend millions of dollars on ESPN now a year?
What's that?
What happens to all these gaming advertisers that spend millions of dollars a year on ESPN ads?
Well, I don't know that ESPN's going to turn away the money yet. I think it's the way I see it is it's no different than beer advertising. I mean, there's certain categories that I don't think you can do exclusively. So they're just a player in the game now. I think a lot of that's going to lie on the fact of does Barstool and Caesar Sportsbook and BetMGM decide do they decide to put all their money on Fox Sports? I mean, I think at the end of the day, they're still going to advertise. We'll see. I mean, I don't know that it hits right away yet, but we'll see.
How does somebody go to a company? So let's say I'm DraftKings and I go and do all these ads and I pay millions of dollars a year to be put through the ESPN network, and then at the same time ESPN's got their own betting book.
Well, they're two separate businesses. I mean, at the end of the day, as an advertiser, as a brand, do you want your brand on the sports leader? You're a sports betting app. You're just gonna take your product off, the number one sports network and not advertise there. I mean, I think everything remains status quo unless until and I don't think it will happen, but if ESPN starts giving you shitty time slots, which they won't, because your ad buyer is buying certain slots and certain shows and things like that. It's regulated enough there to where you're going to get what you pay for. They can't fudge it and give their guys a better slot. I think it's just going to be, at the end of the day, is you're just going to have one more new player in the mix here, and that's the. ESPN still gets their, still cashes the advertising checks. So I think the other competitors are still going to advertise there and buy their slots and compete head to head on the out in the marketplace
and probably offer ridiculous deals. So
yeah. I mean, and I think it'll be interesting to kind of see what their entry play is, how they do it. Don't know how quickly they'll start to gain some market share, but that's the fun part, is that they believe they've got an opportunity to snag some real estate in that space, and otherwise you don't make this move.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep going. We'll definitely keep an eye out on that story, because I think it's going to evolve as the coming weeks happen. Tom Brady's back in the news for a very different reason. He's joined ownership of Birmingham City. So, but for those of you that don't know Birmingham City, they're a very well-established, an old club that played in the Premier League at one stage. Now they're in the Championship. They're currently in the lower half of the table, so probably not ideal for them or Brady. But what we're seeing is this huge obsession with football / soccer teams and American celebrities is continuing. I mean, everyone's trying to get their piece of the cake. I know this is a story that you've been closely monitoring or being a part of in some way, shape, or form. So maybe you can share a bit more with us.
Yeah, well, look, first and foremost, I mean, it's, there's, we've seen J.J. Watt take a little ownership in Burnley Football Club, and now, Tom has, gotten involved in the Las Vegas Aces. He's got a share of the Raiders, and now here he is, getting a piece of the Birmingham City Football Club, which was just recently, taken over by an American group, which Tom is associated with. So, it's just it's not like he randomly picked Birmingham City. I mean, he's got a relationship with their existing owners, and so as Tom expands his global portfolio, this is another way for him to get involved. And and as you mentioned, we're closely monitoring it because we're doing some work in the UK around first of all around American football and the development of bringing some of that a potential franchise and maybe launching a new league in the UK, of which Birmingham was one of the destinations for one of those potential franchises. And obviously we've got a relationship with our friends down in Hertfordshire and with Watford FC, who currently sits in the Championship as well, and our friends at Leeds, who now went down to the Championship. So now you need to keep an eye on Birmingham City because they're competitors for that coveted promotion back up to the Premiership. So obviously there's a lot of things in play at Birmingham, giving their current venue, St. Andrews, they play in. Probably not, certainly not the most modern of facilities, and I would imagine that new ownership and a name like Tom Brady associated with it. What we'll probably see here in the near future is Las Vegas Raiders making a trip over to the UK, to play in London, but maybe they do a training camp, if you will, or do some practices up in Birmingham, given the affiliation that Tom has with the soccer club there. But yeah, it's a trend that we're seeing a lot, that retired athletes and even ones that are still playing are looking to diversify their assets. Look, soccer's the world's game. We've got Copa America and the World Cup heading this way, and so makes a lot of sense for someone of Tom's stature to have a little stake in the world's game, and maybe we'll see Birmingham City doing a tour next year, a la Wrexham and the like, and Tom Brady and Ryan Reynolds maybe staging their two teams off in a little friendly somewhere. But that's again, I think it's good for the game, good for these clubs that are in the Championship to get some brand recognition and name recognition within their ownership group. I think it's Tom's a businessman at the end of the day, and there's a great opportunity if that team goes up. His investment grows quite quickly.
Probably tenfold.
Probably.
Yeah. If they make
it up. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Or as we've seen with Wrexham, is their brand will just tenfold anyway and go through the roof and be the most talked about brand on social media for next couple of months. But if that occurs, so it's been reported that he's been designated to head a newly created advisory board as its chairman, where he'll be consulted on everything from performance, recovery, marketing, and partnerships. So it's a pretty active role.
Yeah. Well, he's an active guy. Tom's not idle. I'm curious to see if this has any effect on his potential role with Fox, or if he ever steps into that seat. He's taken this, not starting this year in that role. We'll see how, he's filling up his calendar, no doubt. So, we'll see what kind of role. It's only a matter of time before maybe we see TB12 on the sleeve of the Birmingham kit, and all those players, diving into some avocado ice cream and all that kind of fun stuff. So, look, Tom has got a very successful, business around him off the field, and I think he is starting to put those, those components into play in his post NFL life.
As Floyd Mayweather used to say, "I'm not a businessman. I am a businessman."
That's right.
So that's definitely Tom Brady. All right, awesome. All the best to him. We keep going. We stay in the UK. Another team that you're pretty closely aligned to is Chelsea. Chelsea secure apparently a front of jersey sponsor. Now, this one here is quite the story based on what I've read. What is going on at Chelsea? Wow. So it's believed that Chelsea have secured a front of jersey sponsor by the name of Infinite Athlete. Till yesterday, or as of recently, they were called Tempest X Machina. This rebrand happened very quickly, and now they're called Infinite Athlete. The deal is rumoring to be around £50 million a year. There's no exact date or length of the actual agreement. So I don't know. This is you know a lot more about this deal than me, but this is my know-how so far.
Well, I mean, obviously, with their mobile partner 3 moving off the kit at the end of last season, there was initially the word that Stake.com was coming on, and obviously the supporters weren't very supportive of that new front of shirt partner. So that went away, and obviously they've been playing their preseason friendlies with a clean kit, and then the news of this announcement, and as you mentioned, they are a subsidiary of Tempest X, and Tempest X, has had some relationships here in the U.S. with the NFL and with the Pac-12, the Intimate Athlete brand, is performance-based AI, that kind of stuff, and so that's one of those things that has been, certainly growing in the business, and there's an existing relationship in that space with the with the parent brand. Obviously, Chelsea, having American ownership, having being the globe, the biggest league in the world, from a brand, an opportunity to, if you're gonna make a name for your brand, one of the best places to do that is on the front of a Premier League shirt, and Chelsea's got obviously a global following, and probably needs a little AI help into developing their talent, because they certainly couldn't do it by buying, quote, talent last year. So maybe this is we see a resurgence on the pitch with the Blues, and the Infinite Athlete relationship is something that helps them get there, with utilizing technology, which is one of the things that is now finding its way into all facets of sport, and here we go, seeing it making its way into a prominent club within the Premiership, and I'll be interested to see, does this does their brand, continue to spend into some other clubs likewise? But obviously, tip of the spear here with Chelsea, taking them off the I need a sponsor list, and right just in time for their Premier League opener here in a few weeks.
What's crazy is that apparently Paramount Plus was interested in also being a sponsor, but it was knocked back by the Premier League due to its American partners, NBC and others. So I wouldn't have thought that such a relationship in the UK would have impacted so much on your broadcasting rights holders, because I get it, they're competitors, but at the end of the day, they're appealing to a different market in a whole different time zone, different everything. So that came to me as quite the surprise, actually.
Yeah, and Paramount, I think, picked up a Serie A club, right?
Inter,
yeah.
Inter Milan, yeah.
Yeah, and so and obviously, look, at the end of the day, NBC's paying a pretty good chunk of change for those broadcast rights, and at the end of the day, they don't they didn't feel that seeing Paramount Plus on the front of one of the prominent clubs. Now, if that's on Nottingham Forest or Burnley or somebody like that, maybe it's not as big a deal. But look, Chelsea, regardless of their performance last year, is one of the upper echelon clubs. They're going to be featured quite a bit. So
for sure,
they would obviously be garnish, get a lot of coverage on the broadcast, and at some level they felt that Paramount Plus wasn't the right fit, and look, they probably have a right to voice their opinion, and at the end of the day, that's a business decision by the Premier League to say, hey, find somebody else.
2 episodes ago, we discussed the Paramount Plus deal with Inter Milan, actually.
Yeah,
which they paid 20 million euros for, so they paid half the price.
Which is probably about right for a Serie A versus a Premier League.
Well, it goes to show you, though. It goes to show you the difference in sponsorship money between the two leagues, especially the two top clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That's like the power of the Premier League, and also Chelsea has about 400 to 500 million fans worldwide, so they're pretty much a very powerful force when you look at them as an entity. But what's most fascinating? What I found most fascinating about this story is that this last minute rebranding that's just going to go on a Premier League jersey that's going to be seen by billions around the world. So it's like,
imagine sitting in that conference room as the chief marketing officer for this company and going, okay, we're sitting around and we got to come up with a new name, and because we've got a big announcement coming up, and it's like, oh, so we're sponsoring something or we're doing something. Okay, great, cool. No, we're putting our name on the front of Chelsea's kit. So we better get this right? Because I mean, whatever you come up with is going to stick, because it's going to be on the front of a kit for 3 years. And
you got 24 hours. And you got 24 hours.
Yeah, and you got 24 hours to come up with the logo, the design, and So just get on that. But those are the types of situations in this business. I start my my grad school class this next week, and this is what I tell these students that are getting into this business, that it's these moments that get your blood flowing and get you excited. That's why you're in this business, is that you get a challenge like that, a deal like that gets done, and all the behind the scenes things that brought it all together. It could have been Paramount Plus, but there were the league got in. There was a decision made by the league to block it, and so it moved it to this other brand, and this other brand's got a name that they really don't want to put on the front of a kit, but let's come up with a new one for this product, and we got 24 hours to figure it out. And you're sitting there with a brand team and a marketing team and a sponsorship team and a commercial team, and everybody's you got a printer over here with a bunch of jerseys ready to stamp it on the front of the jersey for a press conference, and no different than the whole lead up to a Lionel Messi showing up in an MLS. I mean, all those are moments that you can never predict, but God, it's fun as hell to be in the middle of them. So
100%. I
and we
can
get
tell
to
you
talk
something.
about it.
Absolutely. I can tell you something. There wasn't much sleep between the team for this project, because this would have been some legit last minute grinding, because there would have been a ton to happen, especially going through all the approvals by the Premier League and the club and this and that. It's a big task. So there you go. Interesting, very interesting times. We're seeing a change of the guard where Abrahamovic's old legacy, 3 was a partner for many years, now moves on, and Mr. Todd Bowley comes through and brings in his own people, his own sponsors, his own everything. He's changing the game. He's changing the game, Todd. Good old Todd. He's changing the game, mate. Changing the game.
Hopefully he gets them back to where they are on the performance side. So some positive changes overall, but I think the supporters would prefer to see them in the Champions League and performing at the top of the table for the Premiership.
Speaking of changing the game, there's a little Argentinian who's about 170 centimeters who's really changed the game for the MLS. Lionel Messi, or Leo Messi, or Messi the GOAT, whatever you want to call him, has absolutely been unbelievable in his first few games for Inter Miami. He's been that unbelievable that RA Investments has come back and said, we want to give you another $75 million on top of the 150 that we gave you in 2021. At the time, the club was valued at $585 million. It's got to be close to the $1 billion now. I mean, what we're seeing produced week in, week out, the numbers that these guys pushing. Apple is all in now. He said Apple had forecasted, they said if we get I think it was 700,000 subscribers, we'd be over the moon. They're about to hit 1 million if they haven't already. They're looking at what other players that they can bring in to keep this momentum going. And they've said we're happy now. We're all in on this. A deal that started at $250 million a year. Imagine paying $250 million a year for the broadcasting rights to televise or stream Lionel Messi's games, right? I could almost guarantee you, if I put up a season of Lionel Messi, right? If I said he's going to play in 22 games, I could get more than $250 million a year for him. So this is what this guy has done. We're saying that the biggest company in the world is now invested in growing the MLS and willing to put their hands in their pockets because they've seen an immediate return on Lionel Messi's investment. I'll hand it over to you.
Well, Messi has delivered on every level, and if it was possible, he's exceeded expectations. I mean, he has come over and he's hits the game-winning free kick in his first match, and then he's got a brace in the next match, and then he's got another brace in the next match, and then here they are. Playing their first road game, sold out in 18 minutes. They're on the road. They're down for the first time. They're down 4-2 late. And what happens? Messi put them up 1-0. They get down, 4-2. Messi has a free kick, own goal. And then, you're in the 85th minute. Another free kick, and Messi's got it from the right, 26 yards out from the right, perfect little left to right swing,
opposite side to his first game,
his first one. And what is it? And you've got a wall, you've got a guy laying down, you've got a goalie going, hey, last time he put it in this corner, and what does he do? The goalie cheats to the right, and Messi goes, okay, that means to his left. That means that upper right works. And if you've seen the video, Messi kind of looks up, looks down at the ball, moves it forward about 6 inches, looks up again, moves it forward for another. He got himself about another foot on the angle, and then he just put that bad boy in the upper 90, and to tie it, to equalize, and then they go into penalty kicks and win the game to continue to advance. I mean, they've just the drama, and again, the ratings have to be through the roof. Now they're going back home for another game to play in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. And at the same time, we have the U.S. women knocked out of the World Cup. So if you're a soccer fan, you're not staying up late to watch Argentina and Spain play in the Women's World Cup. You're figuring out where Messi's playing, and if you haven't subscribed to Apple, you're getting the rest of the season, because you're like, this is must-see TV, and this is going to happen through this is League Cup play right now, but we've got another 15 or so matches in MLS to come. And oh, by the way, they're sitting at the bottom of the table in the East. What's this guy going to do now? If you didn't think they were going to make a run, you're going to watch it now, because they haven't lost a game since this new addition stepped onto the field and donned the number 10 pink kit. So it's been crazy. Obviously we've talked numerous times about it. Our clients on the front of this shirt receiving over 15 billion views since Lionel stepped on the field. I mean, it's massive exposure for the partners. Massive exposure for the league. Apple, as you mentioned, is over the moon. I mean, they have pushed their chips into the middle and said, we are all in. Bring on Ramos, bring on Suarez, bring on Neymar, name it. Who wants to come over here and play?
Mbappe.
I mean, the fact that that conversation is even out there, it is that would have been unheard of 6 months ago. Right now, you're like, okay, that might work. So it's a perfect storm right now. But it all starts with the player himself is still at the top of his game. He's not coming over here with diminished skills, and he is actually showing you what his level does to raise those around him. It's been fun to watch. I mean, having a personal relationship with that club is great, but just knowing what this means to the sport here in the U.S., there are young fans getting to watch the best player of their generation play right in front of them. Typically we get them a little past their prime. Messi is still prime Messi right now.
He won a World Cup eight months ago.
Yeah.
8 months ago, he won a World Cup. 8 months ago.
Yeah, and was the top player.
Yeah,
everything. I mean, it wasn't like he just was the captain of the team. He was the impetus in the final. He was the man all the way through the tournament, and it was he's world class, and he is still world class at this point, and he's doing it against a level of competition that's probably a little bit below where he's normally competing, and sometimes maybe there's players that kind of move down to that. I mean, he is playing at his level, and the separation is clear. And Inter Miami has added some quality around him with Sergio and now Jordi Alba, stepping on with them, and Suarez on the way for next season. Hey, they're a team to watch, and I'd love to see other players of that caliber at that stage in their career come over here to play. And I mean, he's proven that you can do it. I don't know if there's another Apple deal out there to do, but it's proven that this league is willing to think outside the box, and that's this one has paid off, and we're the benefactors of it. to watch.
This is what Europe has feared for many, many decades. These are the days right here that the Europeans never wanted to happen. We love the Europeans, all our friends, so on and so on. Absolutely. But competition, sports is competition. Having the best leagues is competition, right? If Lionel Messi continues what he is doing, which I'm fairly confident he will, the MLS is going to get blown up into a different stratosphere altogether. It will, mark my words, be one of the top 3 leagues in the world, right? From number 10 to the top 3 within the next 5 years. Once these brands and organizations start investing in the league, like what Apple is doing, it doesn't get any bigger than Apple. Just to let you know, $250 billion of cash is sitting in their bank account right now. Billion, right? They can do whatever they want with that. They can buy car companies. They were looking at buying Tesla, Hyundai, all the different companies. But you know what? They're investing it in their streaming product. They're investing it in the MLS right now. And what a bargain they got. What a bargain they got. $250 million over 10 years. What an opportunity the MLS got as well. Don Garber, well done.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, and just think, go back, 1994 World Cup was hosted here in the U.S. Still is the number 1 ticket selling World Cup to date. And the next year is when the MLS launched. It launched the league. Here we are, 25, 26 years later, heading into the next World Cup that's going to be hosted here in 26. Let's just say the 1994 mark is going to fall. Stadiums are bigger, the game's bigger, but also we've got this warm-up act called MLS with a guy named Messi going on, and that is going to and again that's Apple's bet. Apple's bet is that this runway up to the World Cup is going to be just off the chain because Messi's got 2 more years on his deal. Doesn't look to be slowing down. He looks to have opened the portal, if you will, for some of Europe's top players that are a little tired of playing in cold markets or fan bases that are a little nasty or whatever. This is not a bad place to be, and if the commercial market of U.S. enterprise is getting behind the sport of soccer, getting behind MLS like they do the NBA and the NFL and the other major leagues in this country, and see the return. And obviously they are getting a heavy dose of when you invest in some of the best, what happens. Brands are not going to be able to stay away from the MLS product leading up to this World Cup, and then when this World Cup's here, it's going to be absolutely off the chain. Both financially, commercially, performance-wise, because we're going to see generational players, coming up. It's going to be massive. It's going to be fun to watch, and we're watching the tip of the iceberg, starting to play itself out. And I wouldn't disagree with you that in 5 years' time, if the MLS plays its cards right and gets some of the players that they are talking about to come over here, that they very well could be from a stature standpoint one of the top 3 clubs, leagues in the world. I still think this promotion relegation conversation is going to be out there because maybe they find a way to make that work within their own system. But look, MLS is it's on a fast train, heading upward.
Rob, Europe has, if lucky, 150 million people in it. If I'm being generous here, I don't know the exact number. America has close to 350 million people in it. Got the biggest technology companies in the world. Got the biggest brands in the world. Got some of the most beautiful environments in the world. It's a no-brainer.
It like to your point, it's Europe's greatest fear that America figured out soccer. they ever figure out soccer, it's over. The good thing for them is that our national team has not figured out soccer yet. We still have to send our best players over there to play and to get better. But I think we are figuring some things out here that are going to help us develop our talent closer to home, but more importantly, attract some of that international talent over to a market that Messi. It's been very public that Messi's decision to come here was very much about family and way of life, and he could live in Miami. There's a strong South American culture in Miami.
Anybody
Great place
can.
for his kids to grow up. He doesn't have to pay state taxes in Miami, and yeah, you're playing in Los Angeles, you're playing in Houston, you're playing in Chicago, you're playing in New York, you're playing in Dallas, playing in Charlotte, playing in Nashville, playing in great cities. You're not playing in,
cities the size of countries, literally.
Right. I mean, yeah, they're all great facilities, great cities. He hasn't made the trip up to Minnesota or Salt Lake in the wintertime yet. And the league is structured so that he doesn't have to play a game up there in that weather. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see, one, how this League Cup plays out, because it'll be fun. But I'm all in on seeing Inter Miami's run from the cellar of the Eastern Conference once MLS play resumes.
Absolutely. Speaking of change, this is a fitting segue. The Saudi Pro League secures a $500,000 TV deal. Not much, I get it, but let's look at it in a different way. Part of this agreement is that they'll broadcast up to 3 live matches a week from the Saudi Pro League. Obviously, Ronaldo in one, always, and some highlights of the league. Now, Dazon's approach is all about global. We're going to be this global platform. We're going to work with all these different leagues and so on, and we're going to build a global fan base. Let's say this still works out, right? This one here shows some good retention. What's stopping Dazn from bidding next year for exclusive rights?
That's right. I mean, look, they are looking at what Apple has done to get the exclusive rights of MLS, and certainly seen the success. The Saudi league, is aggressively pursuing talent. You've got one of the biggest names in the world playing there right now with Ronaldo, and why not do a toe in the water deal to see what happens. I mean, obviously, that's a strategic play, and if you get the return on this, I mean, it to your point could be why wouldn't I go all in? Because we know that they're aggressively out there talking to trying to recruit name talent into
big
these
names.
clubs, big names. They're going after Ramos too. They're going after players across the board. We've seen obviously they went after Mbappe. $1 billion didn't get Mbappe, but it might get him a couple other players, but collectively. But again, they are committed, and we've talked about PIF and just the Saudi investments in global sport. They are not going to just sit idly and have their league just be the end of the conversation. They're gonna force their way into the conversation. And if you're Dazn or if you're any broadcast partner, this is a buy low, sell high kind of opportunity. Get in now. Test it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not a big loss. But it's the world's game. They are going to invest in players, and And so you are going to get some names. Maybe they don't get the names that come to MLS, but look, at the end of the day, they've got infinite wealth that they can attract high levels of talent, and that product will improve, and there'll be a market out there, for Dazn to see their numbers jump and acquire more of that league, and if they choose to get that exclusive agreement, broadcast rights, whether it's global, whether it's here in the U.S., whatever. I think it'll be quite interesting to see that play out. But it's a worthwhile bet at this point to get 3 games a week and see what kind of numbers you can pull, because right now the game, the sport is hot.
So one of the organization that brokered this deal is IMG, American company. They're also looking at securing different deals in 30 different markets around the world, including Portugal, China, and Italy. So I really see this as an opportunity for Dazn to really expand their global portfolio and global offering, because that's their brand. That's what they're going for. And let's just remember one thing. Last year's Ballon d'Or winner, Karim Benzema, and the runner-up are playing where? They're playing in the Saudi Pro League. So that on its own is enormous. It's just like these guys are in it to win it, and they're going all out. And one thing that, if you notice, a lot of these recruits that they're bringing over are of the Muslim faith, and Saudi Arabia is known as the epicenter, like the most holiest site in the world. And a lot of the top talents in football are Muslims. So
yeah, Mane's over there now, and so again, there is, we will start to see, a very interesting migration of talent from some of the bigger leagues into, obviously MLS has announced itself as a player, as a destination. The Saudi League is a destination for those reasons, as well as the financial reasons that they make it attractive. And again, it just creates more opportunity for younger talent within the European leagues, move up and get your chances, because some of the higher priced talent, if you will, is going to some new markets. But again, more leagues in more countries, more opportunities just means more spots for young players to move up and not be sitting stuck in a second division team or U21 team. You'll see that talent develop and go up. A friend of mine's the commissioner of the Canadian Premier League, would love to see that league develop and grow. I mean, all these national leagues, La Liga and Brazil, and all these leagues, keep them growing. Again, it was just less than 2 years ago, we were all sitting here wondering if live sports was going to make it back. Dazn, you were speaking of here, they were damn bankrupt. They couldn't pay anybody. All of their boxing match, nothing was happening. They were pay-per-view, nothing was happening. And here they are, back, back in the news in this case. But it's things change pretty quickly, and here we are, watching the global growth of this game that was always kind of concentrated now is really starting to share its talent to a much wider audience, because we're seeing other leagues raise their level and become obviously interesting to watch, given the migration of some of the talented players that are showing up in these leagues. So fun times indeed.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very interesting times. We're seeing a revolution within sport. We're seeing a we're seeing times that the European leagues did not want to see. We're seeing these alternative leagues around the world really getting consolidated and established and strong. And this is great for football in general. It grows the game all around the globe and continues that. And in regards to the Canadian League, they need to get on the phone to the PIF as soon as possible. Sell their case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get a little investment in there, and get going.
I'll get them a direct line to the commissioner's office. We can make that happen.
There you go. All right, everyone. It's been quite the episode. We've had an absolute blast. Good to have you back, buddy.
It's good. It's good to be back. You get you get off on. I did take a little trip up to Lake Placid. Speaking of Olympic sites, I go up there every year with some of my old teammates from Duke. Play a little lacrosse for 3 days and act like we're 21 again, and then the body lets us know how old we are. But you leave with your heart full and great stories, good times, and camaraderie with your old mates. And like I said, getting out of there in one piece is half the battle. But the 3 days together, with those guys is a lot of fun, and certainly enjoy it. So, but good to be back with you here this week.
Awesome. Great to have you back. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll catch you all next week on the Business of Sport. See you, everyone. Goodbye.
Take care.